So do you agree that actually by having property, your money work harder for you?
Okay, good. Thank you. Yes and no. What you guys have said, right? But I just want to say here is that as an owner now, I say, why must I sell? Last time I buy my Casamera at such a good price, right? I hear the three of you generally is the same concept, same idea, is to sell one and buy two, correct? Huh? Anyone different one? Just different person speak. I did ah. Did the same. Very good ah. You all talk like very professional. Huh? No, there's no right or wrong answer one, right? There's no right or wrong answer. But the most important is, why must I sell? Yes, I totally agree with you. You say that very simple that, oh, just imagine 5 years ago I have this property. You know, if I have two, how nice it would be. Today I would be 700,000 richer. But that was in the past, right? Will that happen to me again? No one? Yes. How will you do? Sorry? Yes, if you do it now, huh? Right? So, of course, like, yes, if you do it now, right? When the person say yes, if you were to do it now, right? Will you trust him? No. You see, the truth here is that sometimes as an agent, when we speak, right, a lot of time, you do not know that people will not trust you. Because, of course, all agents will say, sure one. Correct? Right? Sure one, which agent will not say no one? So once you say yes or straight away -1. -1. Because why? Sure one, so agent come here, sure tell me to do this one. How can you say no good? No good, you will want to do the agent really, right? In your mind is like that, right? I understand. That is also as a person how you feel when he say that to you, right? People English is very important because why? End of the day, sometimes you don't know that you are talking. You may not actually get people to buy it from you. Like how you should answer it? If it's not the way it's being answered, then how should you answer? No. If you just now say that sentence, right, not so good for you to do it, right? Then how will you say it to make people feel good better? He said what? Yes, if you do it now, you have 700,000. So in your opinion wise, what will you say to make him feel that, right? You will not say it this manner. Then at the end of the day, you say, I must do it. No, I understand. But now it's your turn to tell the customer now. What will you tell? So how, see, before we go into that, how should you answer first? Sorry? How many of you attended my direction talk? So what will you do? That's how I feel. You already tell you how you feel, you still ask me back, how do you feel? But you never attend my direction talk. Sorry? Straight away, so agents used to write a lot of what? Justification. Before you do justification, what must you do first? What? First one. You forgot the three things that's very important. First is what? Appreciate. Now you have asked a very good question. Right? Appreciate that a lot. And acknowledge what is it. Actually, what you have said is also correct. Can I just share with you? Right? The last word is what? Discuss. Can I discuss with you? Will you feel better? You all forget the three things that's very important. First is what? Appreciate. Not argue. justify. Straight away, you see all the pattern also. Right? Or argue. Say appreciate first. Yes, very good question. In fact, you have actually asked a very, very good question. And this is something that I thought I want to share with you later on as well. And I acknowledge what you are saying just now, which is correct. I think many people will have the same mindset as you. Well, initially, I also have the same mindset as you, which is very normal. Right? But can I discuss with you how I see certain things here? Then you talk about justification. First, you must make people feel that you are listening first. Remember, lend a listening ears to a person. Please start to learn this. Don't start to argue. Don't start to justify. Once you start to justify, people don't want to listen. Immediately, you see the response. You see her response to it. Straight away, I keep myself silent. I actually, in my heart, I won't trust it. Last one, very scary. You all don't understand human being is so sensitive, you know. How you make a person feel it or not feel it, thought you will feel it really. So remember my 3 important words. What's my first word? Appreciate. First, why must you appreciate first? When you appreciate that time, how will you feel as a person? Happy. Right? Because once you're happy, you will not do argument, right? Right now. Only when you are not happy, then you will do what? Argue. Alright? First is to make yourself. Next is what? Acknowledge. Third is what? Discuss. Remember. So next time, maybe later on we will have more, remember? We'll see how whether you can remember what I'm saying. So again now, why must I sell? Why must I sell? Anybody else? No, I know end of the day, last time I buy custom era and so cheap now. Why do I need to sell now? Isn't it I'm going to take more risk? Now I buy another unit at 1.38 million for my own stay, buy another 1 more million. Don't you think that will be very stressful for me? I wouldn't want to go through that kind of stress, you know. Anybody? Yeah.
How would you like it if someone's paying your mortgage for you?
First, you must do what? It must start practice. Hey, you think so easy to say what I say? Huh? No, to appreciate somebody by acknowledging that person, it's easy to say out. Huh? Practice. Here is practice what? Interaction now what? My speech theory is what? Interact, right? You know how to remember. While you are saying that, it's a reminder to who? Right? Since you volunteer, can I know your name, please? Irene. Do you mind to answer my questions? It's a very tough question. Right? So how? I say, no, I don't want to sell that. So what will you reply? Why? I will tell you why already. Why? Since just now the 3 words is still very difficult. Oh, it's so easy. Just got to repeat what the person has said. That's all. Huh? Yeah. Thanks for sharing your concern. Hey, no need to follow exact word from what I say. No need. As long as you learn how to appreciate, you can say whatever you like. Actually, by answer, you have stated a very important point. Cannot. Will the person receive it feel what? Feel good eh? The person feel, hey, you acknowledge me. You also know that it's an important question eh? So will the customer feel better? Yes. Now is the new era. People like, actually it's not new lah. All the while is like that. It's just that when you are an agent, your mind has totally become an agent. Right? But when you are not an agent at the time, right, you will absolutely feel it. This person wants to sell me things. I know. I won't believe in him. Then that's your mindset. But when you acknowledge a person, immediately you feel what? So is it easy to say my three Ds? Can you repeat and can you say your own words? Say again, please. I understand your concern. So? Not maybe. In fact, this is something that I also want to share with you later part, which you have pointed out. Very good question. In fact, I'm going to share with you later on. Because why is it so important to do this exercise? Appreciate, acknowledge, and discuss. If not, you will talk a lot of things until you do not know what you're talking about. Once you start to do into arguments talk, you really lost what you want to say. You're anyhow go down. Because you're trying to what? Justify. But once you acknowledge, actually you don't need to talk so much. Later on you talk to them. Oh, okay, let later on. Right? And you will not, some population, that's under your population, everything must come out now. So when you talk more and more things, until the person don't know what you're talking. See? Right? This is called filtering of objection. Filtering of objection. You filter away, very simple. Filter away, then later then you come out. So that you don't go into what? Discussion mode. Because once you go into discussion mode, you will spend a lot of time, a lot of things. Right? So how? So you have not answered my question. Yes?
First one.
No interest in this. You have to fly out. Right? So, now, based on this, how can you justify? How can you tell me more? Anybody? Any more? Answer? Besides the three gentlemen who have spoken, any other things that you want to take note of? Yes?
Personally cycle.
What is presently cycle?
I think for the draw and the map and actually this is the best age for you to move forward from your current positions. If you really want to grow your wealth and to prepare for your retirement, this will be the best age. Just imagine you wait for another few more years when you reach the age of let's say 50.
Yep.
Just imagine you the bank where at that very moment of time you really want to grow your wealth, but you still think that the bank will do it.
Understand. Good. You are doing very well. So most important is what? Still haven't come out yet. You have stated a very good point in the sense that what he's just not sharing is about what? Frontline travel. Right? Now between 21 years old to 35 years old, what are you doing more? When you're 21 to 35, this period, what is your what as a normal person, what will you do? Is to build what? To have more money, right? But after you have more money, right, between 35 to 55, what will you do? You have made so much money, right? So the next thing that is most important is what? Growth, right? Like what he says, huh? So at the end of the day, this period is your golden period. Most of us generally, right, the golden period is around here, 30 years old on average, where you have actually made some money. So where do you see yourself after 55? If you do not want to take any action now, what do you see at the age of 55? Will you have one properties? Or are you going to work until 65 years old and still got to pay installment every month? And still will not work. That's what he's trying to do just now. If I'm not. But that is not so much about this yet. See, the critical part I want to bring out this example is what? 300,000 and 180,000. If you don't do this exercise, your 300,000 and 180,000, what are they doing inside the house? Huh? It's not working, right? So is it helping you to grow more money? Just how one of the cycle in the five steps to do restructuring. One of the things that you must take note of what? What is the most important thing you must take note of? Cash and what? Yeah. Because why? A lot of time, many of our customers, they are locked in with this CPF so much inside that they don't do anything, if you were to just now do an example of this calculation of this case study, you will realize that they have total how much CPF? 480,000. If based on 480,000 of CPF, which is 480,000, cash 350,000. You know how much a lot of things to be used. Now currently, if you don't do anything, this 480,000 in the CPF in the house, is it working hard? No. Is it growing for you? Is it helping you to make more money? No, right? But when you split the property into two that time, right, does it help you? And still have CPF assets in your CPF account, right? Can you see that? So my example for this is very clear cut, is to tell you guys is what? Most of the time our people forget about this CPF option. Because a lot of times CPF are sitting inside the house not working. Which most of the time, many of the customers that you have currently will have this issue here, especially the mass market owners. The so-called the investor category, all are talking about cash one. But the mass market owner that we're targeting on is full of CPF inside the house. So how do you use the CPF to what? Work hard for you. Like for example, I just sold one I just sold one of my clients' HDB flat away. His HDB flat is at Dover. He managed to sell it away for 800,000. He just bought, after selling off, I managed to buy one unit at Lakeshore, right? So I also get him to buy one. The wife recently just bought one unit at Sky Street at Anson. 3,003 is the rental. He has a lot of CPF. Can you imagine if I didn't sell the HDB, right? His 200 over thousand of CPF, where is it in? HDB, you know. But now they stay in Lakeshore. Now they have another one in Sky Street. And I tell him, you use your cash to pay 20% down payment. Every month he use CPF to pay installment, right? Every month he collect back how much money? 3,003. Right? Is it using your CPF to work hard for you? Yes. The one is so happy that at the end of the day his income grow at another 3,003 every month. That's what he's getting every month now. Besides she's a staff nurse, she get additional bonus of 3,003. If you multiply by 4 years, is how much? 200,000 cash in the pocket. So will you want to have that or not? This is called what? How to use your CPF to trade what? Trade your CPF with cash in return. Trading your CPF with cash in return. You know, there are so many army officers, so many all these government body people. Their CPF is papa, but not doing anything. A lot. So can you work on them? Right? Can you share this example now to your customer, your friends? Yeah, right? You know what? Recently I just met somebody, you know, which is one of my friends. When I sat down with him, I told her how she can use the CPF. Wow, she was so excited. Every month he just use CPF to pay for the installment. Every month draw back 3,003, no? Well, I'm not so sure. Are you aware how it's being done or not? Can you use this to excite somebody to talk to you? I tell you, there's so many people want to listen, but they just didn't know how to. Because of you guys are so important people in my team, right? You know how many families depend on you or not? How many families depend on your hand, you know? Can you please do some good deeds by helping more people to become richer, please? Right? Can you imagine you can help them to... No, he has 200,000 there. I never use a CPF, no. Every month CPF pay installment, every month get back cash amount, no. Just imagine that happens to all of you. How nice it's going to be, right? I'm not so sure. Are you aware, no, friend? Because I just happened to talk to one of my friends, but happened that he was totally caught by surprise. So I thought that today I met up with you, so maybe just want to share with you also. If you're keen to find out, let me share with you. If you say not keen, then it's okay, look. Like, don't talk. When not keen, then don't talk. Hey, I tell you, got people take money, I'm sure got people want to know why. All is breathing. But you know what? You are just trying to make them very what? Excited. So when you're doing sales and stuff, are you excited to share or not? That's more important. For me, I'm very excited. I say, wow. The wife, I tell you, is so happy. Wow. No stress, still got 200,000. Because why? those that staff nurse, right? Generally, they are very concerned about what? Can I pay installment? Now with 200,000 of CPF in the CPF board, though, she is still working, right? Her CPF is used partial to go and pay installment. On top of that, she got 200,000. Will she feel any more stress? The moment I start to make them do the stress test, show them the stress is not there, straight away he'll put the option for you. Because she knows that very well. I say 3,300, can you imagine 4 years you get back how much money? Close to 200,000. Wow. I say, wow, I should have done it much earlier. Hey, not sure whether have you heard anything from your friends before? Have you guys heard anything before from somebody except from me? Besides now you know about making your CPF to work hard for you. I'm just saying that for you to go and ask your friend this question. Right? How do you feel when I share all these things with you? Well, maybe you can do what, maybe you can just write, maybe you don't mind, can you just tell me, hey, how do you feel after listening to me? You just write a short testimonials for me, say, hey, how you learn something from me, so that I can do what? I can help more other people as well. So of course, if your friend also doesn't know, maybe you can also let me know so that I can actually talk to them. Something like that, right? You start the conversation with them, right? So this is one thing that you can. Yes.
Sorry, but CPF now only provides 4%. That's the question I always get back to all.
4% is provided is in the retirement account.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. But if they have enough, then that's one. The second question I always get back is how do you know I was going to get a guaranteed rental?
It's only how much rental you are talking about. Right now. End of the day, did the property being rented out? Right. Of course, that is another question here, right? Well, you have pointed out a very important question. Thank you for sharing so that everybody here will benefit, right? Right? So of course what he has said is not wrong in a sense, right? So of course 3,003 is not possible. What happened if the market really not so good? The worst scenario here, the rental is 2,005, right? Even if you pay your installment, you still get back 2,005. Is it good money? Not good. Good also there. From nothing now got extra 2,005, not good. But the question is, are you aware? Actually, if the person started buying property 5 years ago, today she's how much richer? Just by renting only. And the last 5 years, the interest rate is so low. How much money is he getting back every month? It's a lot. Really. That's how scary it is. So can you imagine? Right? A lot of people are not having that. At the end of the day, you look at the oversupply, right? I just gotten my key for 8 River Street. I haven't even just collected my key, I rented out my unit very fast. LOI side. Very fast. My rental at 2,000, my unit managed to rent out very good price, $3,000 for one studio. But of course 6 months only lah. But never mind lah, it's okay. Later than rent again. Right? My average is about 2,200 though. Right, in the market that's being rented out. So 2,002, is it okay? Okay, to me, I'm okay, because someone pay my interest, that's it. I don't bother. Right? If you went for PUB, you're supposed to attend the saving bank classes, right? You should know that end of the day, somebody pay my principal, I'll pay my interest, the rest is my money. So is it good? Of course, now the market is oversupplied, but down the road is what? There's still what? Appreciation, right? Of course, just now what he has mentioned, it is only talking about rental, We have not talked about appreciation in capital yet. Can you imagine you have rental for the next 4 years, still have capital appreciation, right? Will it be only 200,000? It will not. Just like your own property in Casamera. Have you ever thought that you from you bought at don't know what 600,000 or 700,000 today is 1.38? Can you imagine that happened to you now? Will it be you see, end of the day, I don't want you to, when you reach 65 years old, I just want you to happily retire and not end of the day work so hard every month or to pay installment until age 65. Can you see that happening to you? If you never do this. I'm not asking you to do because why? I just want to tell you a lot of people did not do, and end up I saw so many couples, end of the day they work so hard just to pay installment until the age of 65. Well, I want to see you happen in that manner. This is the last thing that I want you to see. This is the last thing that I want to see you having that situation. So this chart is actually a very good chart because it actually illustrates to people that to let them see. Okay, when you do this chart, right, the good thing is what? You let people see where they are now. Do they want to see themselves, end of the day, at 65 years old, they only have one property? Do they want? No, man. Same thing, you go back and you draw this chart to yourself. You will understand why. Should you take action now? Should you be moving forward? Right? Here. Yes.
How about a situation whereby this person is already like a 50 plus?
Very good question. In fact, you have asked a very important question. In fact, the last day, the last segment, I already planned this question for you. Your assignment already planned for. Look through first. Your assignment is stated there already, based on your question. And I just did a restructuring, age 53 and 63. You still got hope. So not to worry. Yeah, everybody's sure got hope, I got no hope, right? As long as you want, hope will come. Okay, clear? So this whole case study, I talk so long, only talk about CPF. Hey, but this is very important because there's a lot of time you guys forgotten. Right? So the reason why I asked the three gentlemen here to speak this up is to find out whether you see the numbers. Whether you remember my 5 step, what is the thing to talk about here. The 5 step, we talk about one CPF as well, profit as well. So this is something that we talk about here, right? Okay, talk about what is CPF. Without selling the CPF, is not working one. Only when you sell the CPF, like that's not objective. Okay? So of course, first question to ask for restructuring. First, check any properties they own. Very important, so that you know what's the best to talk to them. Check their current bank status. Is it borrower or owners? Any penalty when refinancing or selling, because you also want to know any penalty like SSD or whatever, so that you can work out whether how much do they have to top up and they might be doing all the restructuring segment here, right? Of course, the next thing is also to check whether can they restructure their loan to take out one of the borrower name. Because sometimes they may not want to sell their property. So the other way is to see what can you take out the borrower name, right? Check out what is their maximum loan need to be done. So that's why I say just now I asked you to download the calculator, right? It's also you must know how much can they loan. Because if you do not know how much they can loan, the answer will never be out. You cannot do any restructuring because you do not know how much loan. So every one of you cannot depend on the banker to revert back to you. Hey banker, can you check for me how much my customer can loan up to? Cannot. You have to do it yourself. Of course, you only do what? Primary one, the basic one version. But end of the day, you still need the banker to do the what? Finalization. So you don't have to worry so much here. So once the loan approved, then you start selling. So the good thing here is what? You don't need to worry about whether you make mistake or not. Because why? You can only do it once the loan is approved. So if the loan is not approved, no action done. So anybody suffering? No, nobody is suffering. The only person who gain is what? You lah. Because you get to learn. Right? You get to do the delivery part. Your customer also learn as well. Even the customer may not able to. Let me tell you, those who do restructuring well, they are always getting back referral one. You see, one of the things that I always talk about here is what? When we do sales, we always must be focused. Correct? Right? You can also focus on doing what? Restructuring. That means what? You only talk. You see, Kelvin, for example, last year he do his sales. He only focused on his existing customer, friends, clients. Once he get a customer come in, his mind restructure. You see, like gainer. rental come out, also what? Restructuring. Or never give him money. You can choose to do rental. You can choose a normal agent or just what? Rental. Okay, I rent for you, right? But can you do one more step? I said, well, can I meet up with you since you want to do rental? Let me come out and see your place first. Then can you start a conversation? Can or not? So how will you start? How will you start a conversation? Like,
How much rental are you getting?
how much rental you are getting currently?
How long are you looking at in terms of, let's say for example, if you're renting out Airbnb, how much profit will you gain?
Hey, you know HDB rental provide the highest yield. This is a common objection. What else? Okay, anybody else? Yes.
How about sharing with the person some testimonies of how other people that you know were in the same kind of situation as he, that actually ended up maximizing the wealth through property structuring or share some testimonies. Get the person excited of wanting to know more.
So when you show testimonial, when the person is not excited yet, or if you show testimony, what is the objective in your mind?
So get the person excited.
Yes, but what if I'm the customer, right? What will you think of that person? Huh? Sorry, that selling animals. So testimony can only come in when? Last part, almost the conclusion part. Then you show hand a little bit more. Say, you see, these are some of my customers who are actually done all these things. And he was very happy that, end of the day, like for example, Ray was sharing with me that the customer eventually thanked him for making them see a dream. They have never seen that they can own 2 pilots. But because of Ray, they see the dreams come true. So the last part is what? Testimonial is what? Anchoring. The last part, anchoring. It should not be in the front line. When in the front, you are really what? Selling. In that sense. But there will be better ways, not to worry.
Just share whether it's okay.
Sure.
Because it's not immediately you share the testimony. As you talk about the rental and all that, and it's really it's a by the way thing. Okay, remind me of.
Oh, yes.
This is not like direct telling this, but
Good.
by the way, you put in this testimony to get the person excited. Of course, the first thing is emphasizing on the rental and all that money, whatever that is done for the person. And then
Okay, now you see very simple. When you want to say something to me in the classroom, right? First thing is not like that say. What do you get from him? What do you receive from him? Nothing. How am I going to help you? I can't help you because why? You just like say 2 words, then dot, then another few words. So how can I understand more? See, when I appreciate you in the sense that you volunteer to say something, but more important is you dare to say everything. Don't care whether right or wrong, just say from your heart. Alright? Don't bother whether right or wrong. Say it from your heart, just say whatever you feel like saying. You see, then I know that is you or not you. How you deliver. But if you plan of how you speak, I tell you, you'll never be able to speak. That's what is the problem now. So what is your objective of saying that? You're almost getting there. Almost. Right? Almost. By the way, what else?
you just share what I shared just now.
In the full sentences. Complete sentences, not full sentences.
By the way, I've known of these few people who are actually in your same kind of situation, but who have actually ended up building their wealth, multiply their assets.
Okay, good. Anybody would like to comment what he has just now mentioned, will you be keen to listen to him? Remember, you are a customer. Don't because you are agent, you think when you are sitting in the customer position, it's totally different. How will you feel? You want to listen? Okay. Who else? You want to listen? Okay, good. Anybody else has any other comments besides agree to him? Anybody? Anybody? Hello? Behind one? Seems like we only talk half class only. Anybody behind? Yes?
Maybe I will ask, have you heard of, do you know about OPM?
No. I want you to feedback on him.
Okay.
Will you feel that what he has just now said, that will you doubt him?
A bit more passion. He must sound like he really believe what he
No,
said.
passion is one thing. What that sentence that he mentioned, right? Will you doubt him?
I won't say doubt, but a bit vague.
First impression. I'm not talking about the first feeling. I'm not talking about the first feeling when you listen as a customer, right? Say customer, you know, I recently have just your case reminded me something, right? Reminded me that my clients, right, actually never thought of this, but end of the day, he multiply his asset and grow his wealth, something like that, right? Correct now? How you feel? Excited? Curious? Good? You're thinking like an agent, you're thinking like a customer. Multiplying, is it a very scary word? Hey, I don't know you what because recently got too much scam around, right? When you start to tell people you can multiply your wealth, double up your wealth, all this people will have fear. So easy one, right? So simple, can multiply one more, right? People like what? I'm not saying that I'm right, no, I'm just trying to change a little bit here. Usually there are people who believe in you, but there will be another group of people who will not believe in you because why? Everybody say multiplication one, you know. But the true fact is a lot of people are also very skeptical about what? This type of things. Multiplication. Because a lot of people losing money through that, right? After that, invest in gold, invest in what? You say, I promise you I can multiply, no. So end of the day, here is what? Will it be possible? Just like your flyers and your multiplication, all this, people won't understand. People will not think that so easy. But they will always use this skeptical mindset in their mind. These people just want to cheat me, want to make me sell, Their mind is like that. The world is like that, right? Of course, you can also do it their way. Actually, remember when we are starting to talk to customers who doesn't know you that time, right? It's trying to be what? Not too hard sell. Not to hard sell too much. Just now your multiplying is what? You have an element of what? Make a person very what? Greedy and making people feel that your objective of doing this is because what? You want to make them excited, right? And also make them see a green element, right? That's your ultimate objective, ultimate motive behind you, right? Correct. Right? Of course, nothing wrong in that sense. I'm just saying that it can be better off in the sense, right? You see, actually, in fact, Mr. Owner, can I just share something with you? Because recently I also have a customer who also rented out their unit, wanted to rent out their unit. But I just shared with them, why do you want to rent out the unit? Because end of the day here, like for example your HDB property, you're sitting on the profit, but do you think that you can actually use this money to work on it, right? Not necessarily that it's for you, because yesterday when I was talking to one of my customer who is also in the similar situation like you, But after listening, he had some concern and some thoughts as well. So I'm just thinking that maybe it's a good time for me to just share with you if you don't mind. Maybe further. Using a softer approach to go in first, rather than that hard approach first. You see, you must first what? Connect first. Don't make them feel that you are trying to sell them something. You just wanted to share something. That motive there is to sell something. But my motive here is more towards sharing first. Right? The tone is more, see, the tone of selling and sharing, there's a difference here. So that's why I always like you to use the word called sharing. If you don't mind, can I just share with you to let you understand how a lot of people may not have understand how to use their existing property to work hard for them. You see, using your existing property to work hard for you has not element of selling yet. There's no element of selling yet. It's only sharing you what are the methods can be done, right? To use your assets to work hard for you. But did not talk about selling yet, right? That's the reason why when I share with him, they have some thoughts in their mind. So that's the reason why I thought that maybe besides talking about rental, right? Which I thought I want to share something with you if you don't mind. In the softer approach. Then okay, generally people when you meet up with them, if you say it this way, likelihood they want to listen to you. Likelihood, I'm not saying 100% now. Everything got no 100% one. Right? Whatever I say, if got 20% believe me, you know well. Only 100%. I only ask for 20%. 20% a lot already. 20% if I speak to 100 people, got 20% is 20 people. 20 people who do 8% with me, oh, 搞掉了，你看嘴了，不会算嘛？哎， don't talk so much. Got 20 people, each person give you 8%. Wow, it's a lot. Don't take 8%. 5% is also enough. 5% is 50,000. 50,000 times 10 is 500,000. So you just need to work for 10 customers to give you 50,000. Not enough. For those 1 million one, you look to what? 20 people. It's alright. But in order to achieve 20 people, you must speak to what? 100 people. If you never hit 100 people, that means you have failed in your 1 million sales. That's the numbers, that's the mistake. So if those of you who are seated here have not talked to 100 people, your target every month must talk to how many people? If you never get to have this chance to hit the number, then you better reflect. You cannot have done enough to hit the numbers. Right? Your target is every month must talk to 20 people. That's your target. If you never speak, I must aim to speak to 20 people. That is actually end of the day, when you set your goal, you set your sales figure, it's about how many people you talk to. A lot of time did not do well is all because of prospecting only. Did not prospect. If you have prospect, you should be able to do it right. A lot of time, many people spend time thinking of what method, which one should I do, which one do. But the question is, did you talk? Did you prospect? Never. So the whole idea of doing sales is all about what? Prospecting. If my telemarketing is not working, then I better do flyers again. If my flyers, if I only do flyers but still cannot get into contact with prospect, what must I do? Then I must do what? Turn up, telemark, whatever that you can do is to talk to 20 people. Every month, 20 people. Every month, 20 people. That is your target. Hey, 1 year you talk to the current number of people, how can you have a chance? Right? So this is something that you can look into. Right? So once the loan is approved, you start to sell. Right? So ultimately our objective is what? Is to do this. End of the day, what is our objective? Is to make them sell and own 2 properties and 1 saving mutual fund. This is the ultimate aim of this whole class that we're talking about here. And this PSD is all about. Of course, I don't want to go through now this whole thing. This is just to give you a guideline what we are talking about. But later on during the case study, you will show me all these things. How you do, how you deliver. How do you convince people to buy from you? Right, that's the end of the classes that we're talking about here. Right, now home. So what are the different funding techniques that we talk about here? Now, first one that we talk about is what are the different financial ways to do it. These are the different ways. 9 sector we to run through here. So the first one is refinancing. Refinancing means what? Is to convince our clients to take out one of the borrower name and buy another unit with 80% loan. When can we use this? When both owners are borrower. So the first thing that when you talk to your customer, you must understand that, for example, Alan and Janet, you must find out whether they are the owner, borrower, owner, borrower. You must find out their status, whether are they owners, whether are they borrower. Not necessarily a husband and wife both are borrowers. Not necessary. So of course, if the wife is not a borrower, then of course can he buy another property with 80% loan? Okay, right? So identification, you must understand the status now, O and B. So of course, if you know that end of the day, both are B status, your job is to remove what? The B, so that they can buy a property. So how can you go about doing it? You just need to go to the bank and do a refinancing. Refinance to another bank to take out the borrowership. But of course, when you take out the borrower, Alan's salary must be able to support the balance loan, he himself. If he's able to support, then you can take out the bill. If he's not able to support, then you cannot. So, right? Can she still continue to be the borrower? Can she, without the borrower, can she still use CBN? If he's not a borrower, can he still use CBN? As an owner, you can use CBN. You don't need to be a borrower to touch your CBN, as long as you are the owner. But if you're not the owner, you cannot use CBN. If you're not the owner, you cannot use CBN. So please take note. So owner cannot refinance, maybe due to penalty. So what you can do is what? Maybe you can check with the bank whether they can offset the penalty or not.
You have to be refinanced to another bank.
Have to you can do a repricing within the same bank. You can. Repricing within the same bank is cheaper because there's no legal fees involved. It's just maybe administrative costs involved. But if you refinance to another bank, there will be legal fees involved because you go to refinance to another bank. Right? That's what we are trying to do here. But of course, within the same bank, you can do a reprice just to take out your borrower. Of course, the next thing is what for commercial. There's only 3 elements that we're talking about here. The next thing is called G. O, we talk about B, we talk about G. These are the 3 words that you need to remember. So, if a person who buys a property, maybe he tells you, Kelvin, I own a commercial property. Right, I own a commercial property. So, what is the thing that you must know? If he owns a commercial property, first thing you must ask, this commercial property is under a purchase under company name or personal name? Personal name or company name? If it's a personal name, confirm his name will be reflected in credit bureau, his loan is there. If this property, commercial property is buying under ABC Private Limited, alright, the directors and the shareholder is Alan plus Janet, for example. ABC Private Limited is actually the owner of that property, Oxley. Right? Oxley, yeah? Right? This company owns Oxley. Who is the shareholder and director? Alan and Janet. Right? So, if they are under company purchase, this is called company purchase. So, Alan and Janet is actually the guarantor. G. Alan and Janet guarantor this company ABC Private Limited to buy Oxley. So, how will the bank assess the loan? The bank will assess the loan based on Alan and Janet declared income. to determine the loan. For commercial, it's based on 4.5. Residential is 3.5. Just for your information again, a reminder. So when you are a G, what is the advantage? When you are a G, credit bureau, every one of us has a credit bureau. When you are a G, credit bureau will not be reflected. They will not see you as a loan outside. Because today, if you want to take a loan, right? If you have credits, means you have liabilities. Your TDSR will drop, right? You will not be able to get a higher loan. So if a customer tells you, I have a ABC, I have a commercial property, so the first thing is what? Ask, is it a personal name or company name? If it's company name, at least you got one more chance already. At least this one will not be seen in the credit bureau. But must you declare to the bank that you have a commercial property loan? Technically speaking, you have to declare. If you never declare, it's your own wish. I never ask you to declare or not. You have to make a decision whether you want to declare. But if you declare, means your loan will not be there. I mean, you will take a lesser loan, your next purchase. But just like now, I don't have any loans. My loans, you will never see me. I don't have a single loan in the credit bureau. I'm a very clean person. Right? But I got loans. But just that you can't see me. So same thing. If you don't have loan, you can get an easier, higher loan, right? So the objective here is what? You will need to understand if a person tells you you have a commercial property, please take note whether they are GM. But if some of the customers, they take a loan from UOB bank, UOB. Only especially for UOB banks. UOB bank will be a bit more challenging because why? UOB has a borrow. UOB can normally grant somebody to take 80% loan. But the only problem here is that they are under not the SME banker, they are those residential banker. You know, banker got two types. One is SME banker, one is residential banker. But residential banker can also do company purchase. But they can get 80% loan. But the sad truth is that even you use a company name to purchase, it's not G, it's borrower. Once you are a B, credit bureau will see you. Once you are a G, credit bureau will not see you. Very important. So when you're asking your customer to buy properties, commercial property for example, would you want to buy under company name? Yes, right? If your customer today can only take $1 million loan, but he has money to buy commercial and residential, so which one will you buy first? Commercial, right? So that it will not what? Affect. Because once you buy a resi, straight away, the end of the story. So is it important to know this? Yes. This is just one of my techniques. This is just one of my techniques. Have you heard this before? Never? Exactly. That's the differentiate between me and the rest of the agents out there. And can you say this? This is part of your sentence. This is part of your delivery. Because you see, understand that when we talk about restructuring, right? Restructuring is not selling anything. Restructuring is only talk about what? Selling who you are. Telling people you are better than the rest of the people. That's all. You need to make people feel that you are different from the rest, then they will do what? Engage you. Right? If a person never explain all these things, I say, if any agents did not explain all these things to you, I think you have lost out a lot. And do you know that? Do you know that if you say this sentence, right, the rest of the agent who never say all these things, right, will be what? Income. And you tell people why this is just one of my techniques. Actually, in fact, this is just one of my techniques. Why do you need to say that? No. Yeah. Until in such a way that he doesn't know how many techniques you have. But they know that you are so good that in end of the day, I can share with you anything. but I need to tailor a package. Why do you need to say that? Special. And also, not everyone is the same. So that the person will know that, right? I have to what? Engage you. You see, the more you tell person, hey, this is one of my technique, right? You see, this is all marketing words, right? Real estate is not just no longer the way of traditional way of talking. It's a bit of marketing involvement in the speech. You see, end of the day when they feel that this is just only one. Wow, this is another of my technique, right? They will think that, wow, you have so many different techniques, you know. Of course, you only learn 9 from me, in a sense, right? But the true fact is that when they know that you have so many different techniques, right, they want to be what? With you. They want to be with you. You see, when we do presentation, end of the day, if you don't tell people that you are so different, right, they will think that everybody is the same. So they will expect every agent can do the same thing, you know. But we all know that, right? We all know that, especially the experienced agent here, we all know that there are many things that many agents are not aware of. Right? There are many. So that's why you are so different. You all are special one, you know. Don't you think that your value is super high one? Anyone who engage you, you are somewhere there one. Don't play. You are a different nature. And why is it so important to tell yourself that? Why is it so important? Confident. Right? Can you imagine if you talk to customers, you see, as an experienced agent, some of you may not even know all these things, right? How will those customers know? Right? They'll be worse off than anybody else. So do you think that you are so good? Hey, please remember to tell yourself, I am very good, you know. Because if you don't tell yourself you are very good, you cannot overcome this restructuring. Because you think that everybody is good. No, let me tell you, all the customer out there cannot make it right. You are the best. You must make you definitely. My guys are all the best one. It's just that you all like practice only. That's the only difference, right? But your knowledge is there. You have the knowledge, but it's just that your delivery that holds you back only. But remember, you're not going there to sell anything, right? You're just going to do what? Sharing. Right, sharing? When you do sharing mode, you don't have stress one. You do selling mode, you're very stressful one. You think of what to say, what should I say? When you go sharing mode, you don't need to do I'm just sharing only, I never ask you to sell anything, right? They ask you to buy nothing, right? Just sharing. Right? That's what you get with this.
If you buy a residential property under company name, this is also reflected in the
in the past or now? In the past, no. Now the problem is 18%. So in the moment, nobody is going to do that. And you only can get 20% loan. So nobody will do that. Right? So of course, if a person who buy this property and obviously it holds CBC back, can he still buy another commercial property? Can you still buy another commercial property? If his loan is 1 million, his max loan is 1 million. He already utilized this as 1 million. Can he still buy another commercial property? Can he still buy? Can or not? Can or not? Why can? So how will you do that? Another company? So how to do that? How to do that? Oh, I just talk so much. OCBC bank, right? Will it be reflected in credit bureau? No, right? That means, is it still clean?
Yes.
So should we go back to the same bank?
No.
Just go to DBS next one, right? But again, there's another thing that you must take note of. Is first for SME banking, SME bankers, right? The banker will do two things. First, check credit bureau. Second thing, they will check what? ACRA. Because all companies must register with ACRA. So they will check two things. So first, if you want to buy a second property first, what must you do? Take out Jalen for the ACRA. That means the sole director is under Alan now. Right? 100% ownership goes to Alan. So the next company I want to register with who? Janet. Janet would be the sole directors of that DEF company. Then Janet will go and what? Apply for loan. Again, you're worried what happens if they cannot get the loan. So what must you do first? Get approval first. Or Janet to go and buy under one. So before you apply the loan, you must make sure the ACRA is taken out. ACRA very simple, go online and take out only. If you don't know, get an accountant to do it, that's it. Very straightforward.
Sorry, Kelvin, it happens that Janet is on the borrower. Now he wants to change himself to become herself to become guarantor.
Need to sell.
Need to sell, right?
Yeah, if not need to refinance. Refinance. For example, this company is under UOB, right?
Yeah.
You have to refinance to OCBC.
Then Janet need to take out to become guarantor. That's it.
No, when you refinance under another bank, OCBC, they will no longer base on borrower already. Only UOB got this special thing there, there's a borrower there. Although they can do company loan, but then they are, as UOB got two type of banker, SME and commercial, residential. It's just that they choose the wrong one to go to. They go to the residential banker. And because residential banker, they can get 80% loan. Commercial banker,
From the very beginning, let's say if you start up a company, you only Alan's name is impossible.
okay,
So leave Janet totally out.
then,
So if let's say they bought a residential and the as a potential buyer is a guarantor for somebody else, it will be reflected in the credit bureau.
residential,
Yeah.
no, not reflected.
Oh, not reflected.
Not reflected. In the past, there's guarantor.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes, not reflected.
Not reflected. Okay. Thanks.
So what her question just now is saying, right? In the past, residential property, right, we can be the guarantor. Like for example, I guarantor my parents to buy a property. But will it reflect in my credit bureau? I will not be reflected. That's what she is asking. Because in the past, before the measure comes in, we can do guarantor the next one. Yeah, but now cannot. Yes?
Yes, okay, we're saying that Janet can open up a company. Right?
Yes.
But then when the bank wants to give you a loan, they have to see a good cash flow, isn't it?
No need. For property purchase, right? They don't look at the company P&L one. They only look at the person income. Unless you're using your existing properties, for example, company purchase for own use purposes. For example, your company is an established company, right? You want to use your company to go and buy a commercial property. You'll be based on your P&L, and there's no more TDSR involved already. Because under you're using your company name purchase, no more TDSR, it's under company purchase. So it's no longer about that anymore. Yep. Right? You see, nowadays there's also something that for example, in the past, there are residential property under company purchase, right? That means the property is owned by company purchase, right? You actually can buy over the company's without paying ABSD. It's swapping of what? Share. Yeah. But if you want to take loan, you have to you're not selling, so you cannot take from normal residential banking in that sense. Once you go into normal loans, you have to pay, you only can take 20% loan. So the good thing is that we call this swap shares. We swap our name in the sense. If you fully paid to the other person to buy over the companies, right? Then it's a very straightforward case. But if you're talking about wow, how am I going to take $2 million and pay ABC Private Limited? Then that one is a different story. That one you have to load up the deck of the existing company. This one is a bit more cheap now. So if you don't understand, it's okay. When you got chance to use it, then you let me know. But by explaining to you, I hope to be now. So end of the day, it's also we need an experienced person to do it as well, not me, right? Like for example, SingCap, effort share, right? So they can also advise your customer how to do this, which vision is going to be coming soon as well. If those companies who owns this type of properties and want to let go at a cheaper price, and you as a customer who cannot buy anymore because of ABSD, people will go through this company to buy. So because why? You go through a company to do a swap share, there's no what ABSD involved. You don't even pay buyer stamp duty at all, no. No stamp duty involved. The only stamp duty involved is just only the upclass stamp duty only for the company's change of directorship and shareholders only, which is very minimum sum. It cannot even count anything at all much. So that's the only differences that we're talking about here. Other than is okay. But if you have such encounter, if you're not very sure, then you will call me again now. If not, just go for straightforward now. This understanding. Any questions so far? Okay, no?
This especially for the company set up for property investment.
Yes, property
Especially
purchase.
for that as
For
well.
property purchase.
The event where the company actually buys the office for their own personal property. One of their directors took our name is still buying
Is it a new company set up? New company set up will be based on the director's income to determine the loan. So TDSR will still in place, 4.5%. Is it correct? What question you are asking me?
means
Of course it's
currently-
correct.
Because currently, let's say he's the director of this company, that is owning this office. So if you want to take out all the directors' name and set up another company and buy another office, so he's subject to TDS.
You mean the better? Yeah, of course. Because it's a new setup. New setup don't have profit and loss statement. So it's based on the income of the directors and the shareholders. That's the main difference here. Alright? Okay, so we talk about SME banking here for commercial properties. So objective is the guarantor is not being seen in a credit bureau record. So we're buying a property under company names, for example, commercial properties. So this is to let you know that if you want to, if your customer loan is not high, they can actually own two private property too. One commercial and one residential. But the thing is that you must go through the residential or commercial first, then you go and buy a residential. That's the only thing we are talking about here. Because some of you may be selling commercial properties to your customer. So this is maybe one of the ways to go about doing it too. Right? Okay, let's go for our lunch first because this one hearing will take some time later on. So now